Good morning, beloved. Good morning, my dear friends and lovers. This morning is another special time the Lord our God has made, and that I, his servant, Prosper into me, would like us to share in this short word of exhortation. Beloved, this morning we have a task to accomplish. What is this task about? My task this morning to accomplish is to give your soul the food it needs. Is to give your soul the food it needs. Just as I stated at my event section on this big platform, Facebook, we are going to listen to the very truth of the Word of God, and that I will entreat that my audience will prepare their hearts for what the Lord have for us today. May I first of all give thanks to God Almighty for yet another day and for our lives. Had it not the Lord, what would we have done when the enemy comes towards us in their anger? The Lord has always been our refuge, and that today we are also safe and have the confidence to talk to ourselves. Beloved, today the theme for our talk is there is a church in the Bible. There is a church in the Bible. We are going to talk about this theme for about a period of 1 month, and that today is the introduction. Today is the introductory part of this talk. I call this a talk because I want it to be more calm, more peaceful, such that my audience and the general public would get the very truth the Lord wanted us to have, such that by the time this lesson gets to an end, my audience would be able to distinguish between what the Lord's church is and what the Lord's church is not. Beloved, so this morning I am starting from the meaning to the term church. The meaning to the term church. So we're going to find out what the word church really means. Just as we know, today when we cast our eyes, we can see so many churches on this earth, uncountable. We can't count them. And the question is, does God behave like this? Is it really true that God has given many routes to his house, where one person will have to take a route, another person will have to take a different route, so we all arrive or meet at the same place? Is that how God behaves? These are some of the things we would be having clear explanations too. Beloved, starting from the point, we are looking at the meaning of what church is. Beloved, the term church is an English word. It is an English word, church. But the term took its form from the Greek term ecclesia. Ecclesia. The term church, I am taking it over again, took its form from the Greek term ecclesia. Ecclesia, which means assembly, an assembly, an assembly, or better still, a call out of people. The moment people come together, converge together at a place, it becomes an assembly, or they become an assembly. And that is what the Greek term ecclesia means. So the English version of the Greek term ecclesia is church. The English version or term to the original Greek term ecclesia is church. Beloved, you and I this morning have to actually become so that we get everything vividly and once and for all. So we got to know that church, as used in the New Testament, simply means assembly, assembly, assembly. You are aware, even in a school or in our schools, when students converge together at the school premises, we can term that a church. We can term that a church. When a community, like say Brai community, converge at a place, that community can be called a church. When a troop of soldiers come together to converge at a place to do something or for a purpose, this group of soldiers can be called a church because they are an assembly, a call out of people. Same way, when drunkards converge at a point, they can also be called a church because a group of people are found, that is an assembly. When servants of Satan, of children who believe to be servants of Satan, come together at a place, they can also be called a church. And that is why when you go to the United States today, you will find out that there is a church there called the Church of Satan. Church of Satan. And it is not surprising at all. So here, what we are seeing is that the term church does not make any assembly a people of Christ. The term church alone does not make a group of people, servants of Christ. Please take a good note of this. The term church does not make members of that group of people servants of Christ. Beloved, we need to take note of this. So, the mere fact that a group of people bear the name church does not mean they are of Christ. The mere fact that the group of people or a particular group of people bear the name church does not mean that that group of people are of Christ or belongs to Christ. And that is what all that the meaning of church is showing to us. The mere fact that a group of people call themselves church does not mean the group of people are of Christ. We need to take note of this, beloved. So, whenever an individual find themselves in a group and the group claim to be a church or call themselves a church, there are a lot of questions that needed to be raised. You, the individual joining that group, would have to raise a lot of questions. And the very major question each individual is supposed to raise when they happen to join a group of people is, what group is this? What assembly is this? Whose group is this? Whose assembly is this? Who founded this group? These are some of the questions that my brother, my sister out there, you need to ask. If you fail to ask these questions, means you are indeed not seeking a good place to be. If you refuse to ask this series of questions, it means you have devalued yourself. You don't value who you are. You see yourself just anything, and that you did not seek to find a good group to join. Because I don't think anyone out there is supposed to just come out and decide to join any group at all, beloved. But if the group you join is a group of thieves, what do you have to do? What if the group you have joined is a group of ritualists? What would you do? And that is why you need to raise a whole lot of questions wherever you find yourself. Ask who owns the group. Who owns the group? Beloved, among all these groups I have given examples to, I talked about group of thieves, group of drunkards, group of students, a troop of military men and staff. Beloved, if you happen to find yourself in any group, I only cited some examples, but in any group at all you find yourself in, you need to ask first, what group is it? Then the explanation comes to you. So the explanation that will be given to you would determine whether you should join the group or not. Beloved, so far, what we've learned is that the mere fact that a group of people bears the name church does not mean they are of Christ, because the word church explains itself that a group of people, any group of people can be called a church. Any group of people coming together can be called a church. And for that matter, even a group of thieves can be called a church. Beloved, don't this give us something to reason about? Don't this give us something to reason about? This is the reason why today we have so many churches around. Yes, and that is allowed. They are allowed in a sense that the term church is not any divine term from heaven. The term church is not any special divine term from heaven, but it is just a language. The Greek is ecclesia, the Greek version, and the English translated ecclesia to be church. Beloved, so any group of people at all can bear this name church. So you now understand why there are many churches today on this earth. So when I, Prosper, gets a Bible, get 2 women who will sing for me, get drums that we'll be using for probably entertainment, get organs also for entertainment, I am done. Then I will start and say, I have founded a church. I have founded a church. Then I'll start. Then when we meet, I'll be taking money, collection. I'll take tithe. I'll take a whole lot of benefits from the people that will be joining my group. Beloved, when I do this, does this call a church that belongs to Jesus Christ? This is my own company, my own business. My own business. So what I will then be doing is that I will make sure I will advance my business. So I would go to other neighboring towns, establish those groups there in neighboring towns, and just like all other businesses, I'll now be targeting maybe a whole district. After I am able to capture a district, I'll target a whole region. After I'm able to cover the whole region, then I'll think of covering the whole world, the whole nation. Then after I am able to cover my nation, then I'll start extending to other countries. And that is how all other businesses run. It has been my business. And yet, people don't understand this to be businesses, but think that they come in there to serve Jesus Christ, which are false. The people only need you. I, the founder, only need you and your money. I'll only need what I can get from you. I need you and your money to advance my business for my family and for other relatives. Beloved, this is how we came about with so many churches on this earth. But don't forget, the term church permits any group of people to use it because it is just a language, a term or a word in language. So no group of people would intend using the term church, that the term church will say, no, you people don't qualify to have me as your title. No, the term church would never hesitate to be a title upon any group of people. Beloved, so this morning, my message is very short. My message this morning is that church as a term is applicable to every group of people or any group of people, irrespective of who they are. Group of thieves, group of soldiers, group of students, group of drunkards, a group belonging to an individual, Mr. Prosper, a group belonging to Brother Ephraim, a group belonging to Amankona, a group belonging to Caesar, and the like. Those are all groups that can bear the name church, and that is why we have seen so many churches on this earth. But, beloved, trust me, we shall enter into the Bible to know that among all these groups that emerged on this earth, Jesus also have his own group. Jesus have his own group, which also use the name church. Jesus has his own group, which also bear the name or the title church. And so, when this happens, a group of thieves call themselves church. A group of drunkards call themselves church. And a group that belong to Jesus also call themselves church. The same identity. So when this happens, how do you know that this is really a church that belongs to Jesus Christ, and this is a church of evil or a church that belongs to drunkards? Better still, this is a church that belongs to thieves. How do you know when these three names are before you? How do you know? There are several ways to know, to actually get to know the church that is of Christ. The church that is of Christ. So among all these groups that emerge on this earth, there is a church that is of Christ. There is a church that is of Christ. There is a church also that is of Satan. There is, which can be found in the United States. There is a church that is of thieves. There is a church that is of person A, like Prosper. There is a church that is of Augustine. There is a church that is for Caesar. There is a church that is of Ephraim. Beloved, so for this morning, I only want to draw your attention to the fact that the mere fact that a group of people bear the name or title church does not mean they are of Christ. For we have a church that is of Christ. We have a church that is of Christ. So when you happen to find yourself in a church or a group, just ask, is the group of Christ? Ask, is the church of Christ? Is that church of Christ? Ask. This is one of your clear questions that you could ask. Please, is that church of Christ? If they say yes, it means you are in a church that is of Christ. You are in the church that is of Christ. The church that is of Christ. And when that happens, you are at the right place. So, the church that is of Christ is the church that is in the Bible. And that is what we're going to learn about. Beloved, so for this morning, I think I have accomplished my task. My task this morning is to let you know that the mere fact that a group of people call themselves church does not mean they are of Christ. For the church that is of Christ is found in the Bible. And as we go along, we will discover this church that is in the Bible. For this morning, beloved, this is where I'll end with you. When the Lord gives us life, we shall continue from where we have just ended. I appreciate my audience. I appreciate everyone, especially those who take time or make time to be with me whenever I have my live programs, and my entire audience. I ask that the Lord would grant us a better understanding such that we may understand this short message and then take action, because the action is very important. A faith without action is dead. And so I entreat that as you listen to the truth, you are to also take the action. Seek the kingdom. Seek to find the church that is of Christ, and you would never regret on this earth, as you also have the hope of salvation. May the Lord be with us today too, till we meet again. Thank you.